Hello, people, and we got to talk about the new decentralized social media network that might be the new big thing in crypto. Yes, we are talking about Friend.tech. And what this is, it's a social media network, but it's also kind of an investment model. But we'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about why it might actually be kind of shady. Now, I know some of you aren't going to like it because you invested in it, but there are some points that we have to point out why you may or may not want to get into Friends.tech. So let's actually get into it. What is it, first of all? It's basically a social media network where you can join certain chats, and by joining thus chats, you can purchase shares in them. So you will actually have to spend money to really participate in this. And yes, we will talk about the airdrops, which are just reward points. So basically, it's basically kind of like WeChat groups or Telegram groups. However, the distinct factor lies in the organic process of entering and exiting group chats, and you have to actually pay to do these. But when you exit the group chat, you can also sell your shares. So basically, you're betting when you go into a group that the group will actually grow. And because when you join a certain group, you earn a share of the selected group, and the base amount serves as a participation fee. If you later decide to leave the group, they can liquidate their group shares. So if your group becomes more popular, you can actually make money that way. So to actually participate in it, you need to acquire an invitation code and link to initiate engagement. Users must acquire an invitation code and link their Twitter accounts. Of course, this is something I don't like. It does force you to link your social media accounts, but that's true for a lot of applications these days. Upon satisfying these initial steps, users are required to inject a minimum of zero point zero 0.01 Ethereum into the base network. That is about $19, $20 right now. Not too bad. Actually, it's probably like 16, 17 after the dump. But anyways, a small amount of money. And you have to use the Coinbase Layer 2 network. And this will definitely boost up the Coinbase Layer 2 network. So go Coinbase stock. Probably not very good for the other Layer 2s like Polygon or Arbitrum. This injection of crypto grants users access to Friend.tech application and its array of features. So you have to deposit about 0.01, maybe like 16, 17 bucks of Ethereum first before you can actually even test this out. Once again, the investment model is basically which chats and which groups actually become popular. The more popular something gets, the more your shares are actually worth. So the dynamic implies that joining a particular group has prospective financial benefits in addition to social benefits. I think a lot of people are going to be doing this for financial benefits. And I don't really know if Gary Gensler and the SEC will come down and say if these groups are securities or not, or these shares in the groups are securities or not. I suppose since they're shares, they are securities. I'm not exactly sure how that works. If you call them but I guess these social groups aren't really companies. I'm not sure how that works, but since you call them shares, I think there is a very good chance that the SEC and Gary Gensler will try to call them securities. And the adoptions for Friend.tech has been massive. They generated over $1 million in fees in the last 24 hours. And they've basically processed over 126,000 transactions and basically a trading volume as of, I think, yesterday that exceeded 4,400 Ethereum since launch. So this is pretty incredible. It is a new investment model, and and I don't think these groups have any real pretend utility or whatever. They're basically a social group, and if your social group grows larger, you make money by when you exit the social group. So I think this is people betting on who can shill the most and who can make their group the most popular or convince the most people to join their network, which kind of makes sense. I don't think there's going to be any pretense of utility, or anything in these groups, but it is an interesting concept, and I think there will be a lot of people shilling their groups on Telegram or Discord, trying to get people to join. And I think this is one way where crypto personalities can actually basically start a share, start a group, and have people buy into the share. Now, there are a couple of problems with this particular company application, and right now I'm not going to be rushing to make a group because of these reasons, out of concern for users as well. So the thing is, Friend, it doesn't have a privacy policy. If you actually go to Friend.tech and essentially you click on the privacy policy, I actually have Friends.tech up. It says coming soon. That's not great because a privacy policy does not actually take that long to write. I don't know if they really plan to have one or if it's going to be really loose and they just don't really want people to see it. That's always a little bit sus to me. But they are kind of a new site or a new business, so I might be able to let that one pass. It does require you to register through an Apple or Google account, but so do a lot of other things. I don't really see that as a negative. Of course, like they want some control over your Twitter for tweeting and retweeting. A lot of apps require that as well, so it's not really that big of a deal for me. And of course, it does stay connected with Twitter or X. It's only a website thing, and I'm not actually a huge fan of the website. When I go to the website via mobile, because you basically have to like have it on mobile. It forces you to add the website to your home screen before you can install the app. So forcing people to add the app to their home screen, definitely not a good point for me. So I definitely have a little bit of an issue with that. And I think like sometimes I feel like they just want to get their website on as many devices as possible. And there could be more nefarious purposes doing so. It does require deposit money before you can test it, but because you have to buy shares, it's kind of like the stock market. If you want to beta test the stock market, you have to deposit a little bit of money. Same thing with this. And of course, it's an anonymous team. There is backing, but anon teams do actually make me nervous. So I don't think I'll be doing this myself, but there is Airdrop in the terms of reward points. They already had their first Airdrop on the 18th, and you do actually have to participate in their beta test to actually get an Airdrop. The Airdrops will be every Friday. Now, here's the thing. That means you have to at least put in $17 to get an Airdrop. Who knows? Like these reward tokens can eventually go for a lot more because this is getting very, very popular. Although there are many critics that don't think this will actually last very long. And this is growing up way too fast. And some are saying that it will only last a couple of weeks before it goes down. Now, this does remind me a little bit about Steppen. Remember the whole move to earn type of thing? It blew up really, really fast, stayed on for a couple of months, and then it kind of like died down. I can definitely see this being kind of the same thing because everyone's interested. They want to invest in these groups, hoping that the groups grow bigger. But once you are not able to attract easy outside traffic, this might be an issue. And you might find yourself like reverse growing. And when people start losing money, they'll ditch the platform application. So if you're buying a bunch of shares right now, whether for beta test or for just investing in these groups, you might want to keep that in mind because if it can't continue expanding, then there's not that much money to be made and the groups will have to cannibalize each other in order for one to grow, others have to fail. So like if you can't keep expanding at an exponential rate, it is kind of a zero-sum game. So a lot of people have actually praised it for bringing thousands of people on chain. But I do think there are some like things you really need to look at before you actually participate in Friends.tech. They have to connect through Apple or Google. They want to connect through your Twitter. That's pretty, that's pretty standard these days. But the fact that they are an anon team does worry me. And right now it does look like they're kind of like, it does kind of look like they're kind of an upstart. So you don't really know like what the team is after, and you don't really know if they're just going to rug pull with all the information. And of course, the thing about not having a privacy policy probably bothers me and bothers several of you as well, because there's nothing that can hold them down to say like, oh, you can't do this with user data, because they don't actually have a privacy policy in place. So it might actually be hard to sue them. Well, it's going to be hard to sue them anyways because they're anon. And I'm not a huge fan of investing in projects that have anon founders right now, because those are always a little bit shady. If they just disappear, we don't really know what happens there. But there is the prospect, if you spend $17 to deposit Ethereum, to actually to actually like get an airdrop every Friday, as long as you're using their beta testing software. So that's kind of like Friend.tech in a nutshell. I bet a lot of crypto influencers are going to create their own chats and get people to buy their shares. I do think this is kind of a fad. Whether it's long lasting or not really depends on like whether people see utility in buying these shares. It is a social media. It is like a decentralized social media, but there is a barrier to entry in the form of like about $17 or 0.01 of an Ethereum. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. I've explained how to get the airdrop. I've explained why I have reservations about this site. So let me know if you think the same way I do, or have you already signed up and are already getting the airdrops or not. And let me know how that actually works. So that's what I have to say for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.